few days later, she had on tight clothing, no little skirt, breast out, and next thing you know, one thing led to another. We started flirting with each other back and forth. Things just escalated from there.
Them words never left my lips.
Yes, they did. I was saying it right. Yes.
You
said their adults left them.
Amber Marsh walked in with the weight of accusations hanging over her. Across the aisle stood her ex, Zachary Belding, and his mother, Tracy, both claiming her 3-year-old daughter Jordan might not be Zachary's child at all. Their suspicion wasn't aimed at a stranger, but at Zachary's father. The scandalous claim was that Amber, at some point during their tangled history, had been intimate with the man she called Dad, creating doubt about who Jordan's real father was. Everyone in the room seemed ready for a fight.
We were living in Georgia, then he moved back to Indiana and got a room, or he shared a room with Amber.
He had nowhere to go, so I took him in.
Zachary wasted no time in explaining his suspicion. Years earlier, his father had moved in with Amber, supposedly because he had nowhere else to stay. This arrangement, Zachary claimed, opened the door to an inappropriate relationship. Amber denied it, insisting the living situation was innocent. Separate rooms, no sexual contact, but Zachary and Tracy didn't believe her.
Just when I moved back to Indiana, there was a bunch of my friends that had said she had slept with them after she had slept with me.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Excuse me too, Your Honor. She's already had one man tested before Zach.
I didn't have him tested. He had her tested.
Amber pushed back hard, accusing them of fabricating stories to undermine her. She pointed out that Zachary had barely been in Jordan's life, visiting only a handful of times. Tracy, in turn, accused Amber of shutting Zachary out and even letting other men play the father role. The atmosphere was hostile, with every accusation met by a swift counterattack.
Belding, you don't think you're Jordan's biological father, and you really think your dad is.
I wouldn't think my dad would do something like that. But if he was drunk, and they were living together, obviously, and she walks around the house half naked.
I never walked around the house half naked.
Amber didn't deny sharing the bed, but repeated that nothing sexual happened. Then came another revelation. Amber admitted she had, on rare occasions, shared a bed with Zachary's father. She claimed it was innocent, but to Zachary and Tracy, it was more proof that something improper had happened. To her, it was absurd to think she would be intimate with a man she viewed as a father figure.
Your father ever say anything to you about them having a relationship?
Yeah, he's told me they've slept in the bed together multiple times.
When Zachary's father finally took the stand, he appeared visibly frustrated by his son's accusations. He denied ever touching Amber inappropriately and said the living arrangement was about ensuring Jordan had care. He admitted the bed sharing happened but insisted it was harmless. Yet Zachary's trust was gone, his doubts lingering over every word.
We are here trying to figure out what in the world is going on. Did you ever share a bed with Ms. Marsh?
Kind of. I mean, the schedules between her mother's schedule, my schedule, and Amber's schedule, there was always someone there to take care of the baby.
As the questioning shifted, another player entered, Amber's current boyfriend, Tyson Hull. He testified that he had been helping raise Jordan daily for months. His presence seemed to irritate Zachary, who dismissed Tyson's role, but Tyson stood firm, declaring himself a consistent father figure, while Zachary insisted Jordan might still be his biological child.
Your name is?
Tyson Hall.
And you are Ms. Marsh's boyfriend, and you've been helping her raise Jordan?
Every day.
The judge listened to the chaos, noting that both sides told drastically different stories. One portrayed Amber as deceitful and promiscuous. The other painted Zachary and his family as manipulative and absent. The only clear fact was that Jordan's paternity had been questioned repeatedly, and that this case represented the final chance to settle the matter once and for all.
You're saying Mr. Hull is your boyfriend now?
Yes, ma'am.
And you did not cheat with Mr. Belding less than 60 days ago?
No.
Finally, the judge addressed the elephant in the room, whether Zachary's father was Jordan's biological parent. She read from the report, her tone steady, deliberate. Years of accusations, whispers, and late-night arguments came down to this. The truth about the alleged affair, and whether it had resulted in a child, was finally moments away from being revealed.
To whether Mr. Belding Sr. or Mr. Belding Jr. is the father of 3-year-old Jordan Marsh. Mr. Belding Sr., you are not Jordan's father.
Thank you.
Already knew that.
Then, with every eye locked on her, the judge picked up the envelope containing the second set of DNA results. These would determine if Zachary or Tyson was Jordan's biological father. The tension in the room was suffocating. Even Tracy went quiet, her earlier confidence giving way to a tense silence. Amber's eyes were fixed on the judge, clutching the edge of the podium.
Mr. Belding Jr., you are her father.
Thank you.
That's my baby.
That's our baby.
That's my baby.
Not yours.
I think so.
Mine.
The courtroom was tense from the start, with Ms. Parker standing firm in her claim. She insisted that Mr. Morton was the father of her 7-month-old son, Aaron, despite his ongoing relationship with another woman. She accused his girlfriend of poisoning his mind against her, suggesting jealousy over the fact that the girlfriend couldn't conceive. Her demands also included over $2,000 in back child expenses. Mr. Morton, however, was unmoved. He argued that the timing of Parker's pregnancy didn't add up and was certain the results would clear him.
First of all, Your Honor, that's my baby father. Anytime I want to have sex with him, I'm going to have sex. You understand? Like, I was vulnerable. He called me, so, you know, we did what we did.
As the judge pressed for details, Parker's complicated history with Morton began to unravel. She admitted she'd been intimate with him for years, even sharing another child with him. She also disclosed that she'd also been intimate with Morton's current girlfriend, sometimes separately, sometimes all together. The audience reacted in shock as Parker matter-of-factly explained the arrangement.
Honor, the only reason why she was able to have sex with us is because I asked my boyfriend to have sex with her because she was lonely. My desires, me and my little freakiness, I said, my boyfriend, can you have sex with your pregnant baby mother because she's in need?
When the conversation turned to the pregnancy timeline, the cracks in Morton's certainty began to show. He believed the conception happened around May, pointing to a Mother's Day encounter as the only possible window. But Parker maintained that her only unprotected sex during the period was with Morton, flatly rejecting suggestions she could have conceived with anyone else. The back and forth grew heated, with accusations flying about honesty, fidelity, and hidden relationships.
Ms. Parker, Ms. Lemon, Mr. Morton, you all agree that you were all in a sexual relationship.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
And so you also are in agreement that there's a possibility that this could be your child?
It could not be my child because the timing is not right at all.
Parker explained she had been pregnant earlier by another man, her boyfriend, but suffered a miscarriage. After that, she reconnected sexually with Morton and soon became pregnant again. At first, based on an initial due date, she told Morton the child was not his, but a later sonogram revised the gestational age, making her believe Morton was indeed the father. She said she immediately brought him the new sonogram, convinced the matter was settled. Morton, though, remained doubtful, unwilling to forget her original statement.
I'm trying to explain what my understanding is so you can correct me.
Okay.
I was pregnant by my boyfriend,
right.
Yes, but I had a miscarriage.
Exactly.
Subsequently, I got back in a sexual relationship with Mr. Morton, had unprotected sex, and I was pregnant again.
Yes, Your Honor.
Despite his doubts, Morton was present when Aaron was born, but he never signed the birth certificate because of his uncertainty about the child's paternity. Parker countered with a Facebook post from Morton's account, calling Aaron "my son," questioning how he could publicly claim the child yet refuse formal acknowledgement. Morton shrugged, saying he loved children, but that didn't erase his doubts.
Picture of you holding baby Aaron when he was first born.
Yes.
So you went to the hospital when he was first born?
Yeah, it was there.
To see him?
Yeah.
No,
Did you sign the birth certificate?
I seen when he came out.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
No, man, I didn't sign a birth certificate because of my doubts.
The financial dispute was just as contentious. Parker claimed she had spent over $2,000 on Aaron's needs, diapers, formula, clothing, and other essentials. At the same time, Morton's contribution amounted to only $30 and some second-hand items. Morton didn't dispute the small sum, insisting that beyond that, he had done nothing financially for her.
I know, but like I said, this is not the first situation.
And so, listen, this feeling that he steps up to the plate and takes care of other people's children,
Yeah, so
but
why
does
should
not properly take care of baby Aaron is the basis of your suit.
Then Morton's mother, Marie, took the stand. She described stepping in to help when Parker had nothing after Aaron's early arrival, providing support alongside Morton's sister and Parker's mother. She openly admitted she believed Aaron was her grandchild, saying the family had accepted him without doubt. Morton disagreed, claiming his mother knew little of the real situation.
You know what about this situation?
Well, as far as them two, to be honest, I really think that they never stopped dealing with each other from time to time. Even when she had the boyfriend, I still believe they were dipping and dabbing because him and the boyfriend had got into it over, I don't know what the altercation was about.
Parker's demeanor hardened when asked what would happen after the DNA results. She made it clear that if the test confirmed Morton was the father, she would go straight to child support enforcement. Shawnee's grew emotional as she described supporting Parker during her pregnancy. She denied ever encouraging Morton to deny Aaron, insisting she had been nothing but caring. Parker, though, wasn't so sure.
I have to ask this. Are you all going to continue to have this unprotected sex?
No sex. No sex, Your Honor. He's good. He's good with his wife. how long that's gonna last.
The judge listened carefully, aware that the emotional entanglements here ran deep and that the DNA test would settle more than just biology. Everyone in the room knew the result would bring an end to months of uncertainty, lies, and half-truths. The envelope was handed to the bench, eyes locked on the judge, the courtroom holding its collective breath as she began to read the DNA results aloud.
Mr. Morton, you are Aaron's father.
Thank you. I told you, like, I'm not no, come on. Thank you. I need that paper so I can go down child support tomorrow morning when I get up.
Mr. Pace, you say you will be crushed today if DNA results reveal you are not the biological father of your son, Prince.
Yes, Your Honor.
Byron Pace stood in court that morning with the weight of 3 relationships pressing down on him: his bond with his girlfriend, the trust he had in his best friend, and the love he felt for a little boy who called him Dad. 4-year-old Prince had been his constant shadow, his little man. But today, everything hung in the balance on the results of a DNA test. If the results said he wasn't the father, Byron feared the loss would crush him in ways he couldn't yet process.
So what's at stake for you and your family today?
Well, what's at stake would be, I would say, 3 relationships: the relationship that I have with Miss Fobbs, as well as the relationship that I have with Mr. Randolph.
Byron had met Jessica Fobbs in a chance roadside encounter, her short shorts catching his eye on a hot summer day. They'd connected quickly, and before long, she had moved in with him and his longtime friend, Sam Randolph. Soon after, Jessica became pregnant, and Byron moved her into a new place so they could have their own space. It was supposed to be the start of their family, but hidden beneath that promise was a betrayal that had now exploded into the open.
Shortly after her moving in, she became pregnant. Once we found that out, being that she wanted her own space, we ended up moving into another spot together.
Jessica admitted she had made a mistake. A single night, she claimed, with Sam. Byron often worked nights promoting clubs, leaving her alone. That loneliness, mixed with suspicion over his time around other women, had made her feel neglected. She insisted it wasn't an affair, not an ongoing romance, just one drunken lapse in judgment.
I just want this to be okay. I want everything to stay the way it is. I don't want us to separate the situation or anything.
So when you say you took this as neglect,
for Byron, the truth came out in an argument. In the heat of it, Jessica blurted out that Sam might be Prince's father. The boy was 2.5 at the time, and the revelation cut deep. Byron described feeling betrayed by them both, but he forced himself to confront the situation calmly. He called Sam, arranged to meet face to face, and confirmed the truth. That admission left Byron reeling.
How did you find out that she slept with your best friend?
Well, that's interesting. We were actually in a heated argument at the time that it occurred, but it kind of just got blurted out to me that
Sam's explanation was little comfort. He said they'd both been intoxicated when it happened. Byron was away working. Jessica came home drunk, and one conversation led to something else. He couldn't even recall if they'd used protection. He swore it had only happened once, but for Byron, once was more than enough to shatter trust.
You asked him point blank, have you slept with Miss Fobbs?
Yes, I did.
And he said yes.
Strangely enough, he did say yes.
So, Mr. Randolph, I just have to ask.
Physical resemblance became the next battleground. Sam submitted an old photo of himself as a child, suggesting similarities in Prince's forehead and mouth. Jessica disagreed. She saw no likeness. In her mind, the boy looked more like Byron, pointing to his nose and upper lip as matching features. Byron, too, held on to those small resemblances, hoping the lines in their faces weren't just coincidences.
Mr. Randolph, you submitted to the court a childhood photo of yourself
Yes.
and Prince.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you think you look pretty much exactly alike?
Jessica admitted she'd been carrying the secret for years, torn over how to reveal it. She wanted her son to know the truth about his father, but feared the damage it would cause. Prince only knew Byron as his dad. Sam was simply Uncle Sam. She didn't want to confuse him or rob him of the stability he already had. She explained she grew up without a father and didn't want the same for her child.
Was it a secret you were holding and during the argument you just had to let it out?
Yeah, at the moment, Your Honor, I was contemplating on how I was going to get the information out because I do want my son to know who his father is.
Despite the betrayal, Byron and Sam had tried to salvage their friendship. They'd known each other for over a decade, and Byron didn't want to throw that history away. But the strain lingered. Every time he saw them both, the doubt gnawed at him. Was it just one time, or had there been more? He never left them alone together, unwilling to give that doubt any chance to grow.
You all have tried to reconcile and keep your friendship despite this?
Yeah, correct, Your Honor. I've been knowing Mr. Randolph over 10 to 12, 15 years almost.
Jessica said she still loved Byron deeply and wanted to repair their relationship, no matter what the DNA test revealed. She praised him as a father and hoped that the results would confirm that. When the moment finally came, every face was fixed on her, waiting for the truth that could mend or destroy bonds in an instant. The judge cleared her throat and began.
Determined by this court, Mr. Pace, you are not his father. Ms. Kavanaugh, you appeared in our courtroom previously and tested 2 men as potential fathers of your 1-month-old son, Malcolm.
Yes, Your Honor.
Unfortunately, neither turned out to be his biological father.
The courtroom was tense the moment Megan Kavanaugh stepped forward. It wasn't her first time here. Just weeks earlier, she had stood in the same spot, hoping 2 other men might be confirmed as the father of her newborn son, Malcolm. Both tests had come back negative. Now she claimed the child's biological father was not an old boyfriend or casual fling, but her own mother's close friend, Ken Spence. The revelation drew shocked gasps from the audience.
I know how bad it sounds. It is bad. I started calling him up, asking for like rides, to the grocery store, to get stuff from my house. And subconsciously, I was trying to try to seduce him.
Ken didn't deny sleeping with Megan, but he insisted it wasn't his idea. According to him, she had pursued him, showing up in revealing clothes and making suggestive moves. At first, he said, he resisted, but over time, he admitted his resolve weakened. He claimed they were intimate only once. Megan disagreed, insisting it happened at least twice.
How did you end up being in the position you were sleeping with your really good friend's daughter?
It was like she said, came over a couple of times. She was in inappropriate gear. The first time, I shunned it off.
Then, Megan's mother took the stand. She recalled moments when she'd noticed them exchanging unusual glances, but both had denied any wrongdoing at the time. She only learned the truth during a heated argument with Megan, when her daughter blurted it out in anger. Later, Ken admitted it too, telling the same story in private that he told in court.
How did it feel to learn that your daughter was sleeping with your very good friend?
It was very devastating, just because the relationship was inappropriate. I felt betrayed. Actually, when we were together, all in the same room,
The drama deepened when Megan's sister testified. She said she had been with Megan when her sister met up with Ken one day, and Megan explicitly told her not to tell their mother about their intimacy, but loyalty to their mother won out. She told her everything, effectively exposing the secret. Megan again admitted she had made aggressive advances toward Ken, but argued he could have refused.
And what do you know about this situation,
Okay, I know my mom and him had a best friend connection, and one day me and Megan went to go meet Ken. It was just me and Megan. And she was getting something from him. I think it was some money or something.
Then came another twist. Ken revealed he was married, but he maintained he would step up as a father if the test proved Malcolm was his. He admitted being within the likely conception window. Still, he said Megan had told him she was also involved with other men during that time. Indeed, she confirmed she had been sleeping with a man named Mr. Bowles and another named Mr. Scott.
I do admit that I did come on to him, and it was probably really a strong come on.
You did admit that in court.
But he is a grown man. He could have told me no.
It goes both ways.
Who would you like to add, Mr. Smith?
Mr. Scott was in the courtroom ready to speak. He testified that he and Megan met at a pool and began a short-lived sexual relationship. He insisted they always used protection, except Megan claimed there had been one intoxicated night when they didn't. She confirmed this happened during the conception window. Mr. Scott's mother had seen a picture of Malcolm and remarked on a resemblance, but Mr. Scott wasn't convinced.
Saying that you had a sexual relationship with Miss Kavanaugh?
Yes, ma'am.
And it was during the window of conception. Do you agree with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Throughout this, Megan's struggles with alcohol were a constant undertone. She admitted she was drinking heavily during the time in question, often to the point of going to work drunk. The judge reminded her that drinking had not solved her problems. It had created more. She urged Megan to seek counseling, regardless of the DNA outcome, to ensure she could care for her son responsibly.
So these are the last two possibilities, Miss Kavanaugh?
There's one more, Your Honor.
To get to the root of the matter, the judge called for the results. She began with Mr. Scott, knowing that if he turned out to be the father, the tangled questions about loyalty and betrayal would take one path. But if he weren't, the focus would shift entirely, and the implications for Ken would become impossible to ignore. The room seemed to tighten with anticipation, every second stretching as the truth inched closer.
When it comes to the paternity of 1-month-old Malcolm Kavanaugh, Mr. Scott, you are not his father.
When Mr. Scott was eliminated as the father, all eyes turned back to Ken. The possibility that Malcolm's biological father might be his mother's married friend now seemed more real than ever. Finally, the judge lifted the second envelope. Megan's hands were clenched, her breathing uneven. Ken's eyes were fixed forward, unblinking. The entire room leaned in, every ear tuned to the next words.
In the case of Kavanaugh versus Spence Scott, when it comes to the paternity of 1-month-old Malcolm Kavanaugh, Mr. Spence, you are not his father. Ms. Holthouse, you are here to prove paternity of your 3-month-old son, Zayden.
Yes, Your Honor.
Shockingly, you confess it's either a man you shared a sexual relationship with who wants nothing to do with your child.
20-year-old Ms. Holthouse stood at the plaintiff's table. She had come to prove the paternity of her 3-month-old son, Zayden. The truth was already scandalous enough. His father could be one of 2 men, but one of those men, standing across from her, was her mother's boyfriend. The other had already distanced himself, showing no interest in the child.
So, Mr. Shinewald, how did you end up in a sexual relationship with your girlfriend's daughter?
It started out as a text message, Your Honor. I received wasn't supposed to come to me, and a word was misspelled.
From the very start, it became clear how far the boundaries had been crossed. The mother's boyfriend, Mr. Shinewald, openly admitted to sleeping with her daughter. The affair, he explained, began with a text message, seemingly harmless but misdirected. What followed was a flirtation that quickly escalated into something physical.
He told us the word you abbreviated, and I can imagine how you abbreviated it. You sent the message. Was it meant for him or meant for someone else?
It was meant for him, but my mom was sitting right beside me when I texted him this.
The revelation spilled out with uncomfortable frankness. Mr. Shinewald described her clothing, and the moment boundaries dissolved, recounting how they met at a park late at night after she snuck away from her grandmother's house. It had lasted 6 months. 6 months during which he was still romantically involved with her mother.
What did you say to her, Mr. Shinewald?
Just asked her if she wanted to go out and have a good time with me.
And you said,
sure.
Their meetings became secret and strategic when her mother left the house, when she was asleep, sometimes even under the same roof. She admitted they had almost been caught once, when her mother found him with his pants unzipped. It had sparked furious confrontations and bitter arguments. Still, the relationship continued. When Holthouse became pregnant, she initially didn't know who the father was.
Ms. Holthouse, how were you sneaking around behind your mother's back with her boyfriend? What were you doing?
We would just, when she's not there, she left to go somewhere. Sometimes when she's sleeping.
The timeline of pregnancies in the household only added fuel to the fire. Her mother, Ms. Bogardus, had given birth to a daughter with Mr. Shinewald just 11 months earlier. That meant Zayden, at only 3 months old, could be both Bogardus' grandson and her daughter's half-sibling. But this was just the beginning of the scandal.
Well, at the moment I did not know, but as my mom was pregnant with my sister, my sister is Mr. Shinewald's daughter.
When her mother entered the courtroom, the reality of the situation became even more raw. She had been with Shinewald on and off for 20 years. Mr. Shinewald had known Holthouse since she was a baby and even helped raise her. She described seeing troubling signs, her daughter acting strangely around him, switching seats to sit next to him whenever her mother left the room.
Ma'am, we are discussing a very difficult situation. Mr. Shinewald has been honest with this court. He's admitted he's been carrying on a sexual relationship with your daughter.
Despite the tangled betrayal, Shinewald and Bogardus were still together. More shocking was the revelation that all 3 adults lived in the same house. Strict rules had been put in place. Holthouse and Shinewald were not allowed to be alone together, not allowed to speak or text, and if they were in the same room, the television volume was lowered so Bogardus could hear their conversations. But under questioning, both admitted their last intimate encounter was only months earlier, in September. The judge didn't hide her skepticism, pointing out their stiff body language and evasive answers. She even offered a lie detector test to prove they had stopped. Both refused.
Me and Miss Bogardus just have to figure something out.
And so how often do you get to see Zayden?
We actually all stay together.
You all stay together?
Yes, ma'am.
You all live together?
Yes, Your Honor.
As the questioning turned to Zayden, the judge asked if either hoped to be the father. Holthouse hesitated, saying she didn't wish it to be Shinewald, but also admitted the other potential father wanted nothing to do with the child. Shinewald was blunt. He hoped he wasn't the father, claiming he wanted life to return to normal, though the judge openly doubted what normal meant in this context.
So, Ms. Holthouse, are you nervous about these results?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you hoping he's the father? Are you hoping he's not?
No, Your Honor, I really don't hope he's the father.
With all testimony given, it was obvious that this was no ordinary paternity dispute. This was a case where the results could redefine roles entirely. If the test showed Shinewald was the father, he would be both Zayden's father and his half-sister's father, while also remaining the partner of the child's grandmother. If he weren't, it would not erase the betrayal. The courtroom sat in a heavy silence as the judge read the results.
Mr. Shinewald, it has been determined by this court. You are not his father. Ms. Nadeau, you confess you are caught in the middle of two lifelong best friends because you slept with them both and now have no idea which is 2-year-old Cameron's biological father.
At the center of the storm was Kayla Nadeau, a young mother standing between two men who had once called each other brothers. Their friendship had lasted 16 years, but the truth Kayla brought to court threatened to shatter it completely. She admitted she had slept with both men, and now, 2 years after her son Cameron's birth, she still didn't know which one was his biological father.
Mr. Santilli, now what will you do if today's test results reveal Cameron is your biological child?
I'm gonna break down. It's been over 1.5 years. I had to convince my 4-year-old how he doesn't have a younger brother no more. I had to convince myself that he wasn't my son.
Kayla's explanation began with loss. She described how Dino's grandfather had been gravely ill and how Dino had decided, over text, to break up with her during that time, claiming she was too good for him and should focus on herself. Still, she stayed close to the family, visiting the grandfather in the nursing home. On the day he died, Kayla said Dino's best friend, Tom Zara, revealed that Dino had left her for the girl upstairs. That night, as grief and anger mixed, she and Tom drank together. It was that same night, she admitted, that they first slept together.
The day that he passed away, I was holding his hand, and Tom was standing, Mrs. Zara was standing behind me, and we both just took it hard. It's not easy to watch anybody pass away, never mind somebody you were so close to. So we went out afterwards and we had some drinks.
The timeline became a point of contention. Dino said he never suspected anything at the time, yet Kayla openly admitted she attended the funeral with Tom after their encounter. She maintained they were both single adults when it happened. The judge pressed her on whether she considered how much the betrayal might wound Dino. Still, Kayla stood firm, arguing that if she truly mattered to Dino, he wouldn't have left her for someone else.
You don't really know who the father is.
No, I can't say.
When Tom entered the courtroom, his defense was blunt. Dino had supposedly told him to do it, claiming he didn't care about Kayla because he had another girlfriend. Dino immediately rejected that version, accusing Tom of betraying 16 years of loyalty. Rumors about Kayla and Tom had circulated before Cameron's birth, fueling Dino's initial denial of paternity. But as months passed and Kayla insisted the baby was his, Dino said he decided to be involved. He was at the hospital when Cameron was born, cutting the umbilical cord and signing the birth certificate.
How do you end up sleeping with your best friend's girl?
First off, he told me to do it. He told me specifically in his house, yo, I don't care about this girl. I have another girlfriend.
Still, doubts began creeping in. At first, everyone said Cameron looked like Dino, but over time, more and more people whispered that the child resembled Tom. Kayla herself admitted she saw the similarities, even submitting a photo of Cameron next to a baby picture of Tom, two faces she said were identical. Tom, for his part, admitted the likeness was strong.
So you believe the child was yours. Did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes, I did.
When he was first born, everybody said he looked just like Dino, but I wasn't too sure. I just kind of kept my mouth shut because I thought, maybe it's my guilt. I thought it was just me who thought he looked like Tom.
Kayla's confession about when she told Dino of her doubts was disputed. Dino said it was on Christmas Eve, delivered in a cruel jab about him holding his best friend's child. Kayla denied this, claiming they had discussed it weeks earlier. The fallout was immediate. Dino ended up incarcerated after snapping in the aftermath of the conversation. By the next morning, Tom had stepped into the role of father.
How did you finally break the news to Mr. Santilli that—
He's gonna tell you that I told him on Christmas Eve, and that's not the truth.
That's not the truth?
It's not the truth.
But Kayla's romantic history with both men was even more complicated. She revealed that she and Tom had a daughter together after Cameron's birth. Even so, they were no longer in a relationship. She said her only goal now was clarity, to know for certain who Cameron's father was so that everyone could move on. In her mind, Dino shouldn't bear responsibility for a child who wasn't his, while Tom deserved to know if he was the father so he could give 110%.
So, Miss Nadeau, right now, who are you with?
Neither one of them.
Okay. Is Cameron your only child?
No.
They have another baby together too.
We have a daughter together.
Which we?
Me and Mr. Zara, and I have another son.
Tom admitted that at first he didn't believe Cameron was his. Still, pressure from family, friends, and even strangers convinced him to step up. He described people telling him that, as Dino's best friend, he should help regardless of biology. Over time, though, his feelings changed. He began to see Cameron's resemblance to his daughter and his mother. Kayla insisted the two children looked identical and shared traits from Tom's side of the family. Dino listened in silence, saying he simply needed the truth so he could either recommit to being Cameron's father or finally let go.
Miss Nadeau just says she truly thinks you're Cameron's father. Do you think you are?
At first I didn't, but now yeah, for many reasons.
After years of confusion, accusations, and shifting loyalties, all three stood in the courtroom waiting for the truth. Dino confessed that he had already braced himself for the possibility that Cameron wasn't his, telling himself that for a year and a half. But he also admitted that if the boy turned out to be his after all, it would force him to relive the heartbreak he had worked so hard to overcome. As the judge took the sealed envelope from Jerome, the entire room leaned forward, years of bitterness and uncertainty hanging on a few printed lines. The judge began to read
that Cameron's biological father is Mr. Santilli.